Today we are joined by Sergio, who is just 17 years old and he's selling AI to business owners and making money from it. He's also in my school community and he's an absolute legend. We're going to sit down and talk about how he finds and gets clients for his AI service, what his parents think of him dropping out of high school at just 17 years old, and how he plans his day, and so much more. You do not want to miss this video. There's so many gems in it. It's going to be an absolute banger. So without further ado, let's get into this. If you don't know who this guy is, he's 17 years old. His name's Sergio. He's quite active in the community, but I wanted to bring him on to my channel to give you guys some amazing value. So I don't know if you just want to start by introducing yourself, and yeah, we'll go from there.
For sure. My name is Sergio Mendez. I've started my business in 2019, and I've done so many stuff to get to the point where I am today. I had a digital agency where we did videos. I've done Amazon FBA. I've done lawn mowing. Like I've done everything. So I've been an entrepreneur, you could say, for 6 years almost, which sounds insane because of how young I am to most people. But yeah, it's been a fun journey, and recently started developing AI and just started my marketing agency.
Yeah, and it's absolutely crazy because we were talking before how you're 17 years old, and if I would have started when I was your age, like I would probably, yeah, I'd be so much further ahead than I am now. So yeah, you're the potential you've got is nuts. But I think yeah, I mean, I don't know how like all the things you've like gotten to this point. If you want to like dive deeper into just what's worked for you and what's not worked for you, I don't know. Maybe that would be valuable for those watching.
Right, for sure. So when I started my digital agency, that was my first kind of goal, or like my first business that did really well. And the only problem, the lesson I learned from that is I got it to some months I was making 30, 40K a month from it. And most of it was profit because it was just me filming videos. So I was charging around 5K per video. It was like big mansions, right? So we're talking about $9 million homes, $10 million homes. And real estate agents, they wanted to pay for that advertising. They wanted to pay for those videos. And what I realized is that it's not a service that generally generates the money directly, right? So the value proposition is not there directly. So my focus now when I'm doing business with people, my focus when I'm starting a new company, when I'm doing an offer, I always want to put how much, like what the end result is, right? So when you do digital marketing, like video wise, like so you do social media management, you can't really guarantee anything from it. Like you can be like, okay, I can help you get more followers. I can help you achieve 10 million views. I can help you do that. But what is the direct return from that, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I started my marketing agency, was because first of all, it was super hard to scale a filmmaking agency, like a digital agency. And second of all, it's like people didn't see the value, that people that weren't at the point where they could just spend 10 grand and not care didn't see the value on spending 5 grand, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. So it's
As
more
of
like,
marketing, like when you're doing advertising, there's such a direct correlation towards their business growth that there's people that will take out loans to do your service. Like if you're a good salesperson and you can show them the value, I have clients that are like, okay, is there a way that you could finance it for me? Like, how can we do this? Because the value is there, if that makes sense.
yeah, 100%. It's like selling the benefit of the benefit. So like, for example, if you run like, let's say like an AI appointment setter, you're not selling the fact that you're not selling the mechanisms, you're selling the fact that it's gonna save them time, which then is gonna allow them to spend time with their family, or vice versa. It's gonna like increase appointments, and then the appointments will make them more money. So you're selling just like the end like destination, not the actual like mechanisms. So yeah, I 100% get that, and I think a lot of people relate to like struggling to sell like the end result, if you know what I mean. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, I mean, people focus too much on how can I sell the product, right? So how can I do social media marketing. I'm gonna get you more views. I'm gonna get you more clicks on your ads. When people in reality, you should be focusing. It's like, hey, you're gonna book more appointments, which is the end result. You're gonna make more money, right? So people are focusing too much on things that business owners do not care about. So yeah, I mean that's what it is. They just want more clients. So if you're in a business where you're generating more clicks for in a website, so like, oh, I increase conversion rates through optimizing websites or SEO optimization. Like those are low leverage business models because you're not the main source of income for the business. So something like an AI appointment setter, something like a lead gen, it's a model where you are the driver of sales for the business. if that makes sense. You're generating them more profit, you're generating them more revenue directly. And if they were to take you out of the equation, they could see a drastic
Yeah.
like drop in revenue or in profit.
Yeah, 100%. And obviously the point where you're at now is like most people, I guess some will relate to it, but I don't know if you want to go back a level, or like take it a step back to the point where when you started your agency, what was like the hardest part you like came across, and also how did you solve it? I assume it was just getting your first client. I don't know if you just want to explain how you got your first client or two.
Yeah, dude, I don't know if you remember, but I called you. We had a call to join
Yeah,
the high
that
ticket.
was ages ago. I swear that was like 6 months ago.
No, it was that was in December or January.
Okay, so like yeah, 4 5 months ago. Yeah,
Right. So that was when I first started my agency. That was like zero clients. I had no idea what I was doing when it came to actual doing an agency like
yeah,
that. And the thing that helped me out the most was that I was prepared.
yeah,
So I hopped in it with systems. I hopped in it with predictable KPIs. Like I knew what I wanted to hit. So um, how I got my first client, it was just focusing on outreach, right? So just making my first month or two, it was just focusing data, and I'm still focusing on data. Like I don't care how many clients I'm getting right now. I don't care how much money I'm making. I'm more focusing on what am I doing every single day? What are the results of the inputs I'm putting, right? So if I'm sending 500 DMs, my focus is to see how many replies I'm getting and how many people are booking an appointment from it. So that way, in 2 months from now, I can be like, okay, this works. I'm ready to go to 100K a month because that's what I need to be able to get to that point. It's not necessarily more appointments. It's not necessarily more clients. It's the systems that are going to help me scale to that level. So that's where my focus is now. And how I got my first client was like testing new things. So it was more about like sending 100 DMs, seeing what worked,
yeah.
and then changing it to make it better. So just doing that over and over again until you find the thing that actually works for you.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I tell like beginners this that if you're starting out and you don't like, most people like wait for the perfect like script, but the only way you can get that is by just putting as much like inputs into the market to get data back. So yeah, you kind of just have to be like a scientist in a lab to start with and just try to find something that works, like a proof of concept, and then you can dial that in. Because too many people focus on like, in my opinion, especially when they're starting out, they try to like have the perfect script or they have the perfect like service delivery, but the only way you can get to that point is by just putting like inputs into the market to get feedback, and then you can like build a better product, or build a better script. But most people like just never send like outreach, or they never start reaching out, because they're constantly stuck in like a analysis paralysis kind of thing. I don't know if yeah you agree, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I mean, I don't have any SMMA students, but from what I've seen in the community, like a lot of the times people they're waiting, they're texting like, yo, Charlie, what's the best DM script? What's the best
Yeah,
SMS script? It's like, how can I cold call better? And you ask them, it's like, how many cold calls are you doing a week? And they're like, oh, well, I'm doing 10 or I'm 20.
yeah,
And it's like, bro, the only way you're gonna get things right is by looking at it. There's three ways of how an input and output works. There's three stages to it, right? So there's the input, there's the process, and then there's the output. So you just test different inputs, you see what the process is like, and then the output comes out negative or positive, right? There's only either a negative outcome or a positive outcome. And
yeah,
if the outcome is negative, now you know, okay, this doesn't work. Let's try something new. The problem is when people are focused on making money, they're not focused on getting that data. They're like, okay, this didn't work. SMA doesn't work. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know,
I
it
think
does
there's
work.
just too
You
much
don't have to.
emotion like built up. Especially when I started, like I think humans in general are just very like flawed because they're all like very emotional like creatures, if you know what I mean. Like it's very easy to like do something for a week and it not work and then change what that is, even though that's just never enough of a data set to make a good decision. But I guess that's just something you need to like change, or just go against your instincts and just try to think of it as like a logical thing. Like I tell people, like especially if you're sitting at your desk for like a long time, like 5 hours a day, 10 hours a day, it's quite easy just to get so like emotionally wrapped up in like day to day, like the operations of it, if you know what I mean, just looking at your screen. Whereas if you like think of it from like a third eye point of view, and you like imagine you're at your screen here, and just think of yourself like up here looking in at yourself from like a bird's like eye point of view, if you know what I mean, and see what you're doing day to day and try to come at it from a logical standpoint. Like you'd probably increase like the rate of change so much more than just like emotionally going at it.
Right. I mean, the thing that held me back the most when I started the marketing agency was that I was super focused on getting a free lead magnet or getting a good looking website.
Yeah.
And what I would do is I would look at, for example, somebody's video on YouTube, like, oh, you need this lead magnet
Yeah.
and this lead magnet is going to get your results. So I'm like, oh, sick, let's do a lead magnet. And I would try the script. Dude, I would do 50 DMs and I would be like, this doesn't work. And that goes 6 hours of my time because
Yeah.
I would have to build the lead magnet, make the pictures, make it look good. And it would take me like 6, 7 hours to make the lead magnet. Then an hour to send the DMs. And I wouldn't see results the first day. I'd be like, okay, what's the next method? So I feel like another thing people lack is they lack the ability to focus on one thing for a long period of time without seeing results. Because there's going to be a delay between the inputs you put now and what you see as an output. So I feel like people just skip that process and they don't give it enough data or they don't give it enough information to be able to receive. So yeah, I totally agree with your point there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm building a module in the school, like the 10K a month like speedrun one. And I literally tell people to just not go on YouTube. Because when I started, like looking back, the reason it took me like 6 months to start my first client, which is nuts, was because I was literally sending like 50 Instagram DMs a day, and that's all I was doing. And I was watching like a ton of YouTube, and people don't realize that the information on YouTube, first of all, everyone's trying to sell you something. So of course there's going to be like biases to do like this outreach method or to do this content strategy because they're trying to sell you something. So, and also like thousands of other people have seen that exact same like video. So the chances of it being like actually working is very low because it's like overexposed. People doing the exact same thing. Too many people just like copy and paste like something they see online and then they just immediately like copy it word for word. No one like thinks anymore, which is a bit annoying. But yeah, I've told people in my school to just not go on YouTube at all. I'd rather you just create content than consume it. But yeah, if that makes sense. That's what I don't know your opinion on that.
Right. I mean, yeah, if everybody's sending the same message, then it's overexposed and
Yeah,
people just they don't trust anymore. It's just salesy. So it's definitely about just being able to create your own stuff and grab inspiration from what other people are doing
yeah,
and just think like stop for like 5 minutes and be like, bro, just five, that's all it takes, literally 5 minutes and look at the thing and be like,
yeah,
how can I change this to make it my way? And so that is differentiated from other people.
yeah, 100%. There's so many people just like just copy and paste it. It annoys me so much. And people in the school community they ask for like a proven script for like, and it's funny because like I don't know what works in your niche. Like the only way is for you to just go test it. Like obviously I've got frameworks of what I would recommend, like having an opener for like Instagram DMs with like maybe just like a inquisitive question or like an easy to say yes question where they can just get a response from the prospect. Like there's frameworks, but I'm not just gonna I can't give you like a exact script. And even if I did do that and it worked, it wouldn't work for long because everyone in the school would use it and then it just like it wouldn't work anymore. But I did actually put some like live appointment setting examples in the school, but I don't think anyone's like used them yet. So yeah, I don't know.
I mean, bro, like I saw this one, somebody did this on me. Like I was a
Yeah,
user at the end. Somebody was booking an appointment for me. It was somebody that did closers and they did like cold calling and
yeah,
they sent me a DM and it was, dude, it was genius. They sent me my email, but with a different at. Like in my name, Sergio Mendes, and then at something else, like another company.
yeah,
And he was like, hey, is this the right email? I just want to send you the appointment confirmation.
yeah,
And I was like, hey, what do you mean? I was like, oh, you booked the call. I was just making sure this is your Instagram. And I was like, well, no, I didn't book a call, but what do you guys sell? And then he was like, oh, I mean, and I was like, bro, like this guy's genius. And then I asked him, it's like, what do you guys do? He's like, oh, we set appointments just like I said to you right now.
yeah. I've had some like similar like because I get pitched a lot, probably like 5 to 10 times a day on Instagram and probably like 5 times a day on emails. Um, and I do get some creative ones, and those are always better than like the copy and paste ones. Because most people are just trying to sell like copywriting or I don't know some type of like editing it's the same things. However, I do get some like interesting ones. For example, one guy on Instagram, he had a similar approach where he basically created a group chat, and for some reason that didn't go to my request. It went to my general. It was really weird, but he just put me into a group chat, and like I got a notification saying like it not like you've got a message, but it was just like you've entered a group chat, and I was like, what the hell? How is this even possible? Um, so yeah, I definitely think creative thinking and just thinking outside the box will definitely like make it so much easier to book appointments and just copying what you see on YouTube and doing that. Um, but yeah, I don't know. Do you want to tell the story? Should we switch it up a bit? Let's go for because I think a lot of people watching this who are young will resonate with the fact that their parents don't want them doing like this agency thing. Because like the old way was just like go to university or go to college, get a job, like you get it. But it's actually insane how easy it is, in my opinion, to make money online nowadays. Um, I don't know if you want to tell the story of what we were talking about before about you just getting like kicked out your house pretty much at 17.
I mean, sure, bro. Dude, so I dropped out of high school recently. So
Yeah.
it's been about 2 weeks. And ever since I dropped out, it's been a constant battle with my mom. Like she's always been like, yo, like you're so lazy, you're such a bum, like what the fuck are you doing? And it was more like, oh, I don't know if I can curse, my bad, bro.
No, no, it's all good. No, I don't care.
So she was like, oh, like you're so lazy, you're such a bum. And I was like, dude, I wake up at like 6 in the morning and I work up to like 2, 1 a.m. sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, and it's funny because you don't need that many hours, but most of my work is just understanding what I did the whole day, like just testing and refining. Just going back to the point we were before. But I mean, this last 2 weeks have been crazy because my mom was just pissed the whole time. She was telling me like, "Oh, you don't do anything but be on your computer all day," and yeah. So one day I got home a little bit too late from a client, and she kicked me out. And now I'm here in my own apartment with a beautiful view of Florida,
Yeah.
and
That's
just
sick.
chilling.
Yeah. Whereabouts are you in Florida? Because I was gonna, yeah, are you in Miami? Because I know I really tried to come to that event. You can actually lead into that. Your like, was it your first event talking?
No, bro, it's been like my fifth or sixth. So I've done a
Oh,
couple
okay.
events. I did, Grant Cardone.
Yeah, yeah, of course, yeah.
So
Well,
I
he
did
makes
an
like 500
audition.
grand a day. And he puts out like 100 content. It's crazy how like his funnel works.
What do you mean?
Like Grant Cardone, like he makes like 500 grand a
Oh,
day apparently.
oh, dude, that guy's insane. It's nuts. And that's just from his community. Like that's just from social media. Like he makes so much more from so many other deals.
Yeah,
It's crazy. So yeah, I did kind of like a like America's Got Talent, something
yeah,
like that. But I did one for like public speaking and being able to speak at 10X Growth Con, which was the event that
yeah,
Grant
yeah.
Cardone just did. And I've done a couple like events like that where just speaking to young people. The presentation I gave this weekend was about how to set goals and stay consistent. So we can talk about that a little bit as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, I just find it crazy that you're 17. I think if you just keep like on track, like as long as you don't completely fuck up, like unless you start like just drinking like every day or something, like there's no way you don't make like millions and millions in your like 20s. Like it's pretty much impossible because most people forget like the compounding effect of just like day-to-day things. Especially like I would say creating content, but also just like doing inputs that move the needle in your business. If you can do that on a long enough time frame, like it's insane how it compounds. I mean, Einstein thinks that like compound interest is like the greatest thing in the world, and I kind of agree. But yeah, I don't know if you want to lead into like goals and things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, compound interest for sure. It's crazy. Like once you start making a YouTube video, once you start doing outreach, it all piles up together. So if you like the way I like to see it, because I do AI cold calling as like it's like one of my businesses.
Yeah,
We compound the data that we collect. So every single time we launch a new campaign, it's going to do 10 times better because we have it backed up by all the data we've sent. So
yeah.
by us having, let's say we do 100 calls, right? We get like 10, 15 replies. And then we have 10, 15 replies. That's data. That's 15 points of data that we can feed into the new AI to make it 15 times better. I don't know if that makes sense.
Um, a little bit. I don't know if you want to elaborate more.
So okay, so let's say I do 1,000 cold calls, right?
Yeah.
The difference in your skill set and between the call first, like the
Oh,
first
okay, yeah, yeah. You're
and the
saying you
call
can adapt
1,000.
to the AI caller to make it better? Is that what you're saying?
Right. So if you make one call,
Yeah,
the second call, now you're two times better than the first one
yeah,
because you were able to learn from the first call. Like, okay,
yeah,
this person didn't like the way I said hello. So next call I do, I'm gonna say hi. Even little details like that, like understanding if hello works better than hi or hey, like keeping it professional and professional. There's so many variables you can like
yeah,
track, you know?
yeah. No, that does make sense. What's your pricing like for placing that into? Because I saw, I think you posted in the community that you signed 2 clients in a day. You posted like a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. But I'm interested to hear like how you got those clients now. Is it still using the AI call, or is it like another method? And how much do you charge for it?
Yeah, so right now I'm using the AI setter to
Yeah.
get clients from SMMA.
Okay. Awesome.
So yeah, so I one of the clients was 1,500 a month, and then the other one I think was 750 or something like that. It wasn't that big because they only bought the AI. So they bought like the done for you package where I helped them set it up. And just if you guys want to get the AI, there's the website, you guys can just get it for 99 bucks a month.
Yeah.
And then it gives you access to creating your agent and it's done for you. So you guys just give in your prompt, you give in your script, and then it takes about 48 hours and then it's on your GHL.
Yeah.
So it's almost like having the SMS in a workflow where you can just put it wherever and then you can just
Yeah.
customize and do crazy stuff with it. Just creativity, just as creative as you can. So yeah, we start at 99 bucks a month for it.
Yeah. That's dope. But sure, yeah, surely you would make like, okay, so are you like selling it more to like B2B, if that makes sense? Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's only for B2B.
Okay, yeah. So like the 1,500 a month, was that a different service or was that still the AI caller? Or was that, I think you
No,
mentioned it was your regular like SMA, right?
yeah. But
Okay,
what we're using the SMA for is kind of like a backstone for the AI caller. So when somebody books a call with me on my calendar, I show them it's like, hey, we actually we get you leads and then we qualify them using AI. So we call them for you. And then people freak out because they're like, so all I do is just close the deal. I'm like, yeah. So we just get you leads that are ready to buy. And you can even listen to call recordings. It's like we sell it as a package together. So we get you leads and then we use the AI to call those leads. So all you're doing is either receiving payment, depending on how hard of a sell it is, either receiving payment or getting appointments into your calendar.
yeah. And that's good because it solves a problem from like the work you do. So if you like run ads for a business and you get lead flow, and then you sell like an AI setter in your offer, just like as a different like mechanism. That's amazing because it's yeah, solving a problem from your great results, if that makes sense. So like yeah, that's definitely how to make your offer like inimitable. And that's one thing I'm massively big on is the harder it is to like deliver a service. So for example, not many people can supply AI cold callers. Or like it's a bit harder from like a complete beginner to provide that to businesses because I think you had to like get someone to like code it or set it up for you. Whereas like a beginner with no resources or no network probably wouldn't be able to do that. I guess they could just buy like your software or buy like another person's software and like white label it. So maybe they could, but the fact that you're running ads and AI cold callers it just makes it harder to replicate, which means that the competition is going to be lower, making it easier to get clients, basically. So that's pretty cool. I'm trying to think what else you could add to your offer, but it's probably yeah. I think just focus on those 2 things. And what have the results been like? Because I think a lot of people, the problem they have with like AI callers is that they think it doesn't sound as like real as like humans. But I know you can like go on 11 Labs and clone your like exact voice and stuff. I don't know if you want to share your like insights or what you think about like the difference between like a real cold caller and then AI cold calling and if there's much difference at all.
For sure. I mean, the beautiful thing about using AI is that it's always going to make the calls with the same energy. So
Yeah.
you hire somebody that's a VA, you hire somebody that's a cold caller for you. By the 15th no, they're like, hey, I'm calling you from
Yeah.
marketing agency. We get you 5 qualified leads.
Yeah.
The AI's like, yo, what's up? 5 qualified leads. It's like ready to go the whole time. So we've actually had better results with AI because first of all, you can clone your voice. So it's
Yeah.
people don't realize it's an AI unless they're paying attention to it. And if you're in the grocery store and you get a call, your brain is not, dude, this is an AI. Your brain
Yeah.
is kind of like, yo, who the fuck is calling right now? Like, who is this person? So they're not thinking about it. They're picking up the phone and they're like, hello? And now it's conversating with them. They don't catch on as an AI. They're not thinking about it. It's not common sense. It's like if I were to say, look around your room and find things that are red. You look
Yeah.
around, you find things that are red. If I tell you how many
Yeah.
blue things did you see? Like, oh, I didn't see any blue things. And then you look around and there's a lot of blue things around.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's only people only realize the things they're paying attention to.
Yeah. Yeah, got it. It's like that red car theory. Like if you drive to like work and you don't look for red cars, like you won't notice any. Whereas if you actively look for one, you'll probably see like a bunch of them. But yeah, I think do you think it'll get even better? Because I know some people that use like female voices for AI calling even more just to make it like more unique. Because a lot of like males call like cold call, so using a female one would probably get better. Like yeah, reply rates and booking rates and things. But I guess another factor is like what you mentioned about like it completely just removes emotion because I mean most of the people watching this know that I used to run like a done for you virtual assistant agency in which I'd basically just find virtual assistants in the Philippines on like Upwork or onlinejobs.ph. I'd train them and then I'll just place them into like coaches like DMs basically and also like free communities just to appointment set and obviously I'll just give them like an SOP. I'll track it but once I got to like 20 different like VAs I was managing. It was like so hectic to the point where like VAs would tell me that they couldn't work like after the day had finished, and they were like, I couldn't work today. Whereas usually if you like work for someone, you would say like before the day starts, I can't make it into work. But it got crazy. So I guess it's the same thing with like yeah, the cold calling of just like it completely removes emotion. It's 24/7, 365 days of the year. Yeah, that's probably the main benefit I'd say.
Oh, for sure. And then the most beautiful thing about it is that if you want to test something with a VA, you have to teach them every single
Yeah.
thing every single time. You know, if you want to test a new script, you have to give them a different SOP. When
Yeah.
as it comes to the AI, you can give them 5 different SOPs and they'll be able to do 5 of them at the same time and give you the data back instantly, kind of like a split test. So you could run 2 different AIs doing the same call calls at the same time without having to train each specific one on how to use the tonality. You just train one. It's like, hey, this is your tonality. Here's how you're going to speak. This is the language you're going to use.
Yeah.
And then you just duplicate it. It's like, this is your script. This is your script. And this is your script. But if you're working with VAs, you have to first one, hey, here's your tonality. Here's how you're going to speak. And whatever the training is, you can't just duplicate a VA, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. And it's just like infinitely more scalable than having a human. As well as not having to manage like them because that sucks. No one likes managing like sales teams or like SDRs and things. I have got a question though. When it comes to like tracking the metrics, how is there like a way to, I don't think there is, but you know, like if I was to tell you to do cold calls right now yourself, you would track like the pickup rates, the maybe like your offer present rates, because not everyone that picks up is going to be qualified for your offer, and then also like just the booking rate. Is there a way to like automate tracking that? I don't think there is, right?
You can track pickups,
Yeah.
no pickups, callbacks, and appointments.
Okay. And obviously appointments you could probably track because you would get like a yeah, surely you would get like a trigger or something whenever someone books an appointment.
Right.
But yeah,
So
maybe
you
not like offer presented. So it's that middle part. But then there probably is a way to automate it. Like if you yeah, if you put it like the call recordings, because I know it records automatically, right? With the AI
right.
caller, you could
It
probably
records.
set up like a yeah, Zapier, like I don't know, like it puts it into like the recording into like a transcript, so it's words, and then you could probably like filter it out if you present the offer. Like there's definitely a way of doing it, but yeah, I don't think that's that important to be honest. But I think the
Sure.
future's
I mean,
insane for AI.
and the cool thing about it is you could just pay a VA to listen to 2 hours of recordings every day
Yeah, true.
instead of
Yeah. And
paying
that
them to
wouldn't even
cold
be
call
much
it.
money at all.
No, it would probably be cheaper because it can be a VA that doesn't need experience. All they need to do is just listen. They can read the transcripts, or you could use ChatGPT. You could just
Yeah.
copy all the transcripts, and put into ChatGPT and be like, how many people got the offer
Yeah.
presented? How many did
Yeah.
this? How many did that?
I'm gonna ask you because it's still recording. I was gonna ask you for your like day-to-day things because I've got like a saying that like if you show me your actions today, I'll tell you where you'll be in like 6 months. Because most people just spend it doing like bullshit things today. So I was interested on like I know you wake up like I think you said in the morning like 6 a.m. or whatever. Or maybe it's not that early, but I don't know. Do you just want to like walk through your day-to-day things of what you do? Like, yeah, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Number one thing, if you want to be successful, plan your days, time
Yeah.
block. That's like the number one rule.
I
And
do
when
that. I do that every night. Like before I sleep, I always have like a to-do list on my phone in my notes, and I just bullet points of like things I need to do because you've got like non-negotiables, like things that you just do anyway, like every day. But then there'll be things that will change. Like I don't know, it'll be doing something for a client or checking this thing. So yeah, there's things that change, but then there's also like non-negotiables. But yeah, 100% like plan the night before.
Right. And the way I do it is to make this a little bit more clear to people is I grab a 90-day goal. So
Yeah,
for example, my current 90-day goal is to get 6 clients that are each paying me 2 grand a month each, like minimum.
yeah.
And then I give mini action steps
Hmm.
on what do I need to do to be able to get that, right? So that is 500 DMs a day, 100 emails a day, stuff like that. And then I split that up on my day-to-day basis, and then I plan my days around that. And I make sure that every action I'm doing aligns to that 90-day goal. And the reason I do 90 days is because it allows me to focus on one goal and test those things so that way I can amplify it in the next 90 days, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I get it. So you're basically just breaking down like to make it easier for you to understand. And that's a good idea. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, so it's like I align every single action I do on a day-to-day basis aligns with my goal. So every single thing I do is moving the needle to
Yeah,
achieve
yeah.
that closer. So let's say I wake up at 6 a.m., I go to the gym, and then once I get back home, the first thing I do is I go into auto leads and I send DMs. Like I just launch it, right? And I have a separate computer to just launch DMs. And I'll launch the DMs and I'll let that run the whole day. Second thing I do is I go and I review the leads I have for today. So every single night before I go to bed, I scrape certain amount of leads. And then I'm sending around 500 DMs a day and I'm doing around 300 call calls a day. And now I'm starting emails and SMS as soon as I get my Instantly account ready. And yeah, so that's what I do. And the first part of the morning is just setting up my outreach. So making sure everything's working right, making sure the leads are verified. And that is between 9 a.m. when I get back from the gym, because I do steam room sauna, network, talk to
Yeah.
people. And then from that time, get night home 9 a.m. From 9 to 11, it's just outreach. So setting up outreach, planning everything when it comes to who's going to reply to whose account is assigned to who, because I have different people managing different accounts. Once I'm done with the outreach part of things, then I go into meetings. So that's from 11 to around 4 p.m. Usually I'll have meetings with either my team or appointments that got booked the day or the couple of days before.
Yeah.
Then once I finish those calls, it's the whole rest of the day basically is just for learning. So that is analyzing data. So looking back at the DMs, looking back at the calls and seeing what we can do better. Then is looking back at my sales calls, like my one-on-one calls, like with clients, seeing what I can do better. And then once I'm done with that, I just write down a plan on how I'm gonna make the next day better. Then I go back to the gym and I play either basketball or pickleball with some friends, just
Yeah.
kind of like a way to not like full hard workout, but productive distraction, kind of like a break from it. Kind of like I like to do things where it's like I'm either doing things I like with people I like that are driving my goal closer, or I like to do things that I like that drive me closer to my goal. So I'm not gonna go partying. I'm gonna go to the gym with my friends. So
Yeah.
that's what I do. I go to the gym with people I like, and then when I get back home, I watch a couple videos on how to improve my offers and just kind of seeing what I could do better. So if one of my appointment setters, like through DMs, messed up, I watch a video on how to be a better leader, for example, right? Or I'll buy a course on how to improve my leadership skills. So
Yeah.
I read that and see what I can apply to my day to day. And then I plan. And then before I go to bed, I read usually. I don't if I have the time, I'll
Yeah.
read. If not, I'll just plan out my day for tomorrow and then go back to bed.
Yeah, interesting. I think you work harder than me. But then I think there's a reason for that. If I were to look back at like me like a year and a half ago, I was probably doing the same like similar inputs to you in terms of like the workload. But like nowadays, I think you do more work than I do. But I think that's because like the energy required to start like and scale initially, you have to put in a lot more effort compared to like when you're already doing like 30, 50, 100K a month. There's not as much things you need to do manually. It's just like telling people to do things for you. So I think that's why like for those listening, like it sounds like a lot, but I was probably doing the same when I started. But now I'm actually working less and making more because I've got people that I've hired obviously, and that's just like a part of the process. So for those that
Right.
are like doing a lot of work, it's probably only temporary. I mean, you probably enjoy like I enjoy just like the day-to-day things, like going to the gym, things like that. So on, just learning. But yeah, it gets like easier once you scale. So like getting initially to like 15K a month or even like 10K a month, it requires a lot more work than to when you're like cruising at. And you'll deal like there'll be bigger problems as you scale, obviously, but like you'll have the knowledge and you'll be equipped to be able to deal with them like 10 times easier. So like right now, the problems you're dealing with, which is like let's say, I don't know, getting client results or just like getting clients, that's not like a big problem. Like, whereas if you're doing 100K a month, maybe like, I don't know, Stripe like completely shut down like your account or something just goes like completely like face up. Like the problems get bigger, but you become so much better at dealing with them compared to when you're starting. So yeah, I mean that's probably why you're doing like what you're doing. But yeah, it's great. I think most people spend like 10 hours a day just watching YouTube and then complain about how they can't make like 5K a month, which is stupid. But yeah, I mean, what's like the end goal for you? I'm curious. Like, let's say 5 years. Where do you want to be 5 years? You'll be 22.
Dude, that's a good question. Definitely, like, bro, goal wise, I really like the idea of impacting people.
Yeah,
So speaking in bigger stages, being able to expand the knowledge, being able to speak to more people, that's definitely a goal of mine. Money wise, I don't have specific set goal when it comes to I want to make like 100K a month. I want to make 300K a month because I feel like that changes over time depending on what you want to do. So I look at money more as a tool more than like, oh, I want money. It's like I want money because of the things that allows me to do, right?
yeah,
So you were talking about your life or your day to day gets easier when it comes to work the more you grow.
yeah,
That's completely true. It's like recently I've had problems finding things to do when it comes to grow my business, which makes me feel terrible because I'm like, dude, like once I finish my outreach, once I finish my calls, like I hired a closer, so I'm a lot less busy now when it comes with setting appointments or like actually taking the calls. That sometimes I'll be sitting for 2 hours without having anything specific to do towards my business. And I ended up feeling, and this happened, I ended up filling it with things that were just busy work
yeah,
because I enjoyed the process so much. I enjoyed the actual work that it felt weird for me to be able to relax. It felt weird to me to be able to like just go to the pool or go to the
yeah,
beach.
yeah,
So yeah, I mean that's my bottleneck. Like my bottleneck is not being able to do more work. And like my goal is to be able to scale my operations and definitely be able to retire my mom. That's a big one.
yeah.
Um help more people out. I want to be able to focus more a little bit in that. It's just expanding my message, talking to more people and growing my operations.
Yeah, 100%. I also don't think it's about like yeah, I guess money is just like a tool to get like what you want in terms of like freedom and I think those are what people actually want, like freedom, maybe status. If like I think some people are more tailored towards that, or like other people more towards like materialistic things. But I think freedom's a massive one. Like it's not actual money. Like if you look at like the main desires of humans, it's mainly like freedom, status, maybe mating. I don't know, but yeah, like there's it's not usually money, but I think impact is a massive one as well. Like I find so much joy in like seeing my clients win compared to like I get more like happiness from that than money, basically, 100%. So I think yeah, you're definitely right with that. But yeah, I've got an interesting question for you. and it's fine if you don't know like what to say to this, but so I think that like humans are not like predetermined in what they're going to achieve, but I think some people are just born with like what you're saying about how you like feel bad when you don't know what to work on, or like let's say you do your outreach or you do your content or whatever you do day to day, and then there's not really else like yeah, because most people would just like do like I don't know, watch TV or something. But obviously like your DNA and how like you've been brought up has made you want to work like even more compared to most people, if you know what I mean. Like most people can just like live a normal life, like go to their job, get home, like watch Netflix, and like I think like certain people like me, you, other people watching this are probably just like it's almost like in our blood. So I was wondering, the question is, do you think like what you're going to achieve is like predetermined, if that makes sense? Like, do you think the way you're born? Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense as a question, or I just confused you.
It does make sense. So you're saying is there's certain people that are born to achieve something, and that's the reason why they work so hard because they're kind of predetermined. This person is assigned to achieve this, and that's why they feel upset if they're not working towards achieving that.
Yeah, or just like everything that you're going to achieve has already been like laid out, if that makes sense. It is yeah, like it is to do with like free will, I guess. But like I'll give you like an example. Like Einstein, yeah, believed that like the way so you're born obviously with like different genes and different DNA, obviously. So some people are like heavily tailored to become successful in terms of like being an entrepreneur or just other avenues of success. So yeah, that's an interesting thing to think about in terms of like um because I don't know about you, but I always felt like I was going to like achieve something. But yeah, probably the same with you and people watching this. Yeah, I don't know.
You want to hear something very, very interesting, and this is something that changed my point of view in a lot of things.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah,
Like 99% of people don't love themselves.
yeah,
Doesn't matter how much they think they do. When you really look at the habits, when you really look at their day-to-day life, is they're eating unhealthy, they're doing this, they're doing that. It's like if you really love yourself, you wouldn't be doing those things. Even high performance people, it's like there's people that are super successful, there's people that are doing really well, but then they have a shitty relationship. There's people that are doing really, really well, but then they're eating unhealthy. And it's like people don't do the work. People don't do things for themselves. So it's more about like, what is your why? You need to understand it's like, what are you working towards? And your why has to be bigger than yourself. Because if like, oh, I want to be a life of freedom, dude, freedom, you get freedom with like 15K a month. You know what I mean? It's like, if that is your goal, if that's what you want to achieve, then you're going to get comfortable when you get to that point. And
yeah.
it's like, why do you think people like Elon Musk are so determined towards their work is because their why is completely different than everybody else's why. It's not a basic why. It's not like, oh, I want to make money. I want to drive a Lambo. His why is like he wants to own everything. He wants to, I don't know what his why is, but it's clearly a lot bigger than just I want to
He's
have
a very
a fancy
interesting.
car, you
Yeah, he's
know?
a very interesting person. Um, but like what I was saying, like literally the question before about how like his childhood, you could probably tell that he was going to be something like special. But yeah, I mean, Elon's very like interesting. Like he definitely has like a superhero like complex. I think he just wants to be like the main character, 100%.
Right. For example, I'll give you an example of what you were saying. I understood your question better. It's like certain people are successful throughout their life, you could kind of tell that they were going to be something better.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah,
I don't necessarily agree with that because you know Patrick Bet David probably.
yeah, yeah,
When he was 26, all he did, and here's something that's cool as well. People's life changes in an instant. There's something that switches your mind, and it's like a mindset shift. He was 26, partying, drinking, doing nothing. Dude's like worth more than 100 million now. But he was everything wasting his life at 26.
yeah,
And the reason he wanted to make money, the reason he wanted to become successful was because his dad was about to die.
yeah,
And he goes to the hospital and they was like, well, we can't do anything. You don't even have insurance. So he's like, oh, like I can't even pay for
yeah,
insurance. My dad's about to die because I'm poor. My dad's about to die because I've partied my whole life.
yeah,
And that was the moment when he was like, I need to change this. I'm gonna make something better of myself. And he says, I went into my Ford Focus and I just cried for 10 minutes straight. And that got me to things like, what can I do to become a better person? What can I do to not go through situations like this anymore? So if that situation would have not happened, then Patrick Bet-David wouldn't be where he is today.
Yeah. Yeah, okay. I kind of agree as well. I mean, yeah, if like if people are procrastinating, it's not really affecting them directly, it's affecting those around them. So like that's what people really need to like drill into themselves, that like you watching YouTube or you scrolling on like TikTok or just doing like degenerate habits today, it's not gonna like impact you. Like obviously you'll feel shit in like 10 years when you're in the exact same position, but like realistically it'll be your kids that like can't have an ideal life for your family. So I think that is like probably one of the biggest motivators. And once again, it goes back to what you said about like having your why bigger than yourself. Like think about like your future kids who, and yeah, if you know what I mean, that's what I would say.
Right. I personally, like, one of my whys is I want to have a great life. I want to be able to enjoy uh, experiences. I want to be able to have my loved ones enjoy those experiences. And I want to be able for my kids to build a legacy from what I've built. So keep the legacy going and being able to say, like, yeah, my dad did this, my dad worked so hard for me to be able to experience this, but for me to be able to help more people out. Right. So, and it's funny to think about it. Even if you're a selfish prick, you don't care about other people, you making money helps other people regardless, because you're providing jobs. For you to make 20, 30K, 40, 50K a month, at some point you're going to need employees. So
Yeah,
you're helping people out, you're giving jobs, and I mean, there's certain things that happen. You making money, no matter what it is, you're helping the world either way.
yeah. Well, what do you think? Okay, that leads me into another thing. Because you said once you get to like 50K a month, you need like employees and team members. And I agree for like yeah 99% of it. But you know like apparently Dan Coe. Do you know who Dan Coe is? You probably do, right?
It sounds familiar. I'm not
Yeah,
exactly
yeah.
sure.
He's like a YouTuber. He's quite big, but he does like 500K a month, and he's actually like got no employees. It's pretty interesting his like funnel, but he just has YouTube at the top of the funnel, and then just like um he's got a really cool content system, but he literally barely has any employees, and he makes like 5-6 million a year. It's crazy. But I guess that's like an exception of like yeah, you only get that if you have huge amounts of leverage, like you're a creator, I guess. But yeah, for any normal person who scales, they'll need to hire.
Cool. Like, if let's say you run a school community, right?
Yeah,
And you started a faceless YouTube channel, or like a faceless, because this is what I'm doing with Boston. If let's say we have the Instagram page has 1.4 million followers, the school community has almost 8,000 members, and that didn't require a crazy marketing strategy. That didn't require employees, and from that's easily 50K a month if we start monetizing it properly. We don't need employees. It's just a digital product we're selling. So we have the Instagram page that has 1.4 million followers, funneling traffic to the
yeah,
school community. There's no employees needed. All you need to do is just post more videos. And Jay, the owner of Boston, there's no employee. He's the one making the videos. He's the
yeah,
one creating the content and just driving the traffic to there. So that would be an example of a person that's just a one-man show.
yeah. You know what I said earlier about like the position most people are in right now is like temporary. Like they're not gonna have to like do cold calls forever. Like it's just probably a few months until you're able to get clients and then hire someone or do AI cold calling or you know what I mean. Like but I always thought of this myself because like I started with a done for you like thing, just like an agency like you. I was just helping coaches, simple appointment setting. Um and I always knew it would be a stepping stone because it's not the most enjoyable thing, like providing a done for you, like appointment setting agency or even I mean you could hire people, but I always like knew it was a stepping stone to get to the point of where I have leverage. So right now, like I've got a closer, I don't have to do much at all. I've got editors, like and that is like the point where I think everyone should get to, but you have to go through the initial like done for you like shit first, which just sucks. But yeah, I don't know your opinion on that.
So what you're saying is there's stages to it. Is that your question?
Yeah, like I knew I'd have to make like a couple 100,000 in a done for you agency to be able to gain skills to then help other people. Like for example, I wouldn't have like all my go high level workflows. I wouldn't know how to um like build AI things or if I didn't help coaches originally and then sell that to agencies, if that makes sense.
Right. I mean, yeah, 99% of people are going to have to go through that work.
Yeah.
99% of people are going to have to do that. through that original phase where they're like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that, I need to do this manually to be able to learn how to manage a team later on in the future, to be
Yeah.
able to, because they don't have the resources. Like, I'll give you an example. I don't know if you know who Jacob Levinrad is.
No.
So he makes around like 7, 8 mil a year. He's 21. He started a marketing agency last year with zero experience, nothing, basically no clue. He didn't promote it on his nothing. He didn't have a course or anything. All he did was just hire people, hire closers, hire DM setters, hire everybody because he had the resources to do it. And all he did was just run ads and have the leads come here to him, close the deals, and then get a return on it. But that's more like of a business structure. Like if a VC wanted to open a marketing agency, they could, and they don't need to learn how to run a marketing agency. They just need to hire the people that know how to do it. But for 99.9% of the people, you don't have 100K, you don't have 200K to start an agency and lose money for the first 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, most people are gonna have to go out there and do the cold calls themselves. More people are gonna have to do things that they don't like to do to be able to get to a point where they can enjoy the life they want to enjoy.
Yeah. 100%. And I think one of the, I mean, the main benefit of starting an agency is, I mean, why it's why I got into it is because you don't need like anything to start. You could literally just like go in person to like a restaurant or literally anything and just try to get a client from the business owner. But then I guess like the low barrier to entry makes it like the competition high. Um, but that's just part of it. I think most people just want to get in copy and paste the exact same offers that everyone else is doing, and that's why they can't succeed. But yeah, I'm trying to think of like some interesting questions I can ask you. I've obviously said like where do you wanna be? I don't know if you just want to have like final words or what would you say? Because you've been in like the entrepreneurship game for how long? Like I think you said you started when you were really young.
Yeah, I started my first business. So it's a very interesting story. I started an FBA store out of an ad I saw. I saw an ad on YouTube. And back then it's like my goal was like I want to quit school so I can play video games. And I was like, I thought it was like, what's the point of school? The point of school is to make money in the future. So I was like, what if I can just take away school from the formula and just make money?
Yeah.
So I started out, I was like, make money online quick. It's like, okay, if I can do that, I can drop out of high school. I was in middle school, I think, yeah, middle school. And yeah, I can just start playing video games all day. So
Yeah.
I saw how to make money online quick. Got into FBA and I lost all my money. Like I was a dumbass. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. So I lost everything. And back then, like we didn't have a lot of money, me and my family. I lived with my mom, we lived in my uncle's apartment. And it was a very difficult time because I lost all the confidence I had. I lost like a lot of things, put me in a very dark place where I didn't want to touch anything regarding to money. And it was until 6 months later that I started cutting grass because my mom was like, yo, we need the money back. Like it's been a while, like you need to pay me back. So I started cutting grass and I didn't get any clients either. So the thing that got me through the stages was like every single time that I failed at something, I had to learn what did I fail and what could I have done to get better at it. And that's how I got into the marketing agencies because I've done all these other businesses, and the thing that I was lacking was the ability to get clients for myself.
Yeah.
So how do I learn to get clients for myself got me to where I am today. It's like, I get clients for other people, you know?
Yeah. And I guess like what I was saying earlier about how like those like skills when you started the first, even though you didn't make money, that probably has helped you to get to the point where you are now. Or maybe like the communication skills you learned when you were a lot younger has allowed you to be where you are now. So that's what I meant about like everything is like predetermined, or like in my opinion like 90%. Because like you were probably born a certain way to think a certain way. So like for example, not like follow the traditional like education system, and that has led you to where you are now. So that's what I meant about like some people are just like superstars, or like some people are just meant to be leaders. So that's kind of what I was playing at about how like the DNA. Yeah, but anyway, I
I
don't know
agree
if
with
you
that.
want
Yeah,
to
you're right. There's some people that are born to
exactly.
be
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
totally. I agree with that 100%.
I can't really explain it better than that, but like if you think about it, like your parents, is your like is your dad or like entrepreneurial or not really?
Recently, so he's had a business for over 20 years,
Yeah.
but it was because it was the only option he had.
Okay.
So yeah, and recently, like he sold his business this year, And for the last year, he's been like, yo, like I want to get on business. Like he started listening to Tony Robbins and he's just starting to pick up.
Yeah. Yeah. Got it. So yeah, I was gonna say like because you're just like 50% of your parents, and then obviously you're like 25% of your grandparents, and then 12.5% of your great grandparents. So you can learn a lot by like actually looking at your parents or looking at your, and you can sort of see it coming. That's what I was trying to say. But I think what was I gonna say? Do you have like a message for like, let's say someone's starting out, let's say you like 2 years ago, what would you tell yourself like 2 years ago, or when you first started, if that makes sense?
Okay,
I'm
that's a
curious. Yeah,
yeah. So what I would tell myself, the number one thing is surround yourself with better people.
yeah,
That is number one.
yeah,
Because
yeah. That's a good one.
if you're not surrounded with the right people, then it's gonna be very, very difficult. It's gonna be 10 times harder on you.
Yeah,
And surround yourself with people that are gonna bring you closer towards your goal. People that are doing better than you, people that speak better than you, and people
yeah,
that are gonna be able to learn directly from you. Like us being in this call, us being able to eventually meet up, I'm gonna learn a lot from you, and you're gonna be able to learn a lot from me without necessarily have to sitting down and be like, yo, I'm gonna teach you how to do this,
yeah, yeah,
So that's number one. Just hang out with better people. Number two is the simple formula for success is finding what works. So testing,
yeah,
finding what works, providing value to the marketplace, doing that to the most amount of people you can, and then you're
yeah.
repeating that cycle. That's the simple key for success. Those four steps. If you understand that, then it's going to be very, very simple to make money.
I think the person one's interesting. You know how like Russell Brunson, I'm sure you know who that is. But you know how he said like you're one funnel away from making like $1 million. I think like the fact that I think like you're literally one person away from making $1 million. Like you can meet one person and they can give you information that will allow you to make $1 million. Or maybe you can meet one person and then you become a business partner and you make $1 million. So you're literally like one person away, and you just never know. Like I've seen people in my school community who partner up and then absolutely crush it because they complement like different skill sets, or maybe one's introverted, one's extroverted. They partner. So yeah, it literally just like having the right people around you is a massive one. And then also I think a massive one is just like putting your back up against the wall. Like most people are way too comfortable. Like if you want to like increase like the learning curve like tenfold, I would honestly just get like a plane ticket. Even if I was broke, I'll just get a plane ticket to like a different country and just like make it like an all or nothing situation. Like if I don't make money in the next like 30 days, I'm like completely like screwed or whatever. That is honestly what I would recommend people to do. Because like if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, we are so comfortable. Like if you've got shelter and you've got food and you've got water, there's not really anything else like that's going to motivate you. Obviously, that's why it goes back to creating your why. But like if you're starting out and you're with your parents, obviously rent's already paid for you. And if you live at home, etc., like it's so hard to like. I mean, it's so easy to like procrastinate, if you know what I mean. I was gonna say it's so hard to like do the work, if you know what I mean. But yeah, 100% like setting your chair on fire or however you want to say it is what I would personally do or what I'd recommend. Like, and you could combine both. You could find people who want to do like the same thing as you, so other agency owners or I don't know, other entrepreneurs, online entrepreneurs, and just like go somewhere else together, like a different country, just rent somewhere. It'll be extremely cheap because if you find five people, and you get like a villa, I don't know, you go to like Bali or whatever, you can literally like spend like a few hundred a month divided by like five. Let's say it's 1 or 2K a month, and you can just grow together, just learn off each other. So I guess that links to what you were saying, but that honestly, that's probably like the formula for the quickest success is to find people who are on the same mission or ideally better than you, and then just like live with them basically, or just like yeah, become very close. Yeah, 100%.
Like, dude, currently I'm at the position where if I wake up every single day at 1 p.m. and I don't do anything, I'm gonna end up in the streets. Like I'm in an apartment where I'm not guaranteed to stay here for another month if I don't pay the rent. I'm
Yeah,
not guaranteed to be able to survive. I'm not guaranteed food from my parents anymore.
yeah,
So it's my decision to wake up every day. Basically, no, there's no decision
yeah,
where I can not wake up like in the
yeah,
morning. There's no decision for me to wake up later. There's no decision for me to miss a call. There's no decision for me to not do my call calls. Because if I don't do those things, then my life is in danger. I'm not gonna be comfortable anymore, if that makes sense.
yeah. So it's basically just putting yourself in an uncomfortable environment. But yeah, like that's how I know you'll make it work though, because like there is no other option. Most people have a plan B, and that's just terrible because you're subconsciously admitting that you might like have to do that plan B. That's why people create plan B. So it's if you just have one thing and just go all or nothing, like what you're doing, just like moving. I mean, you didn't really have an option. You just got like kicked out, I guess. But yeah, like that is probably the quickest way to achieve success. And that's a lot of responsibility for a 17-year-old, like what you're doing. But then once again, it's just skills. Like, I mean, it's a win-learn situation. In my opinion, like you're not gonna wish you get to 80 years old and have like fewer cooler stories. I think Hormozy said that. Like, even if like this goes, like at least you have a cool story to tell. Like when you're like 80 years old, that you rented, I don't know, a place in like Florida at 17, and yeah, so it's a win-learn situation in my opinion. But
Oh, for
ideally,
sure.
you'll probably win. Like, there's no doubt that you'll just like keep
Dude,
signing
if I
clients and
don't
stuff.
win, I can't even get a job at Publix because I don't have my high school diploma. You know what I
But
mean?
I went to Publix in because I was in Florida. It's actually a really good store. I like it. The stores in America are way bigger than the UK. Yeah, it's funny. Have you been to the UK? No, you probably haven't, right?
I haven't, bro. I've been wanting to since I was a little kid. I always told my mom, I was like, I want to go to London.
Yeah, it's okay. In my opinion, London's just like too busy. Like, it's just too like it's very similar to New York, but like. Yeah, it's the same kind of like just stressful environment, but yeah, it is interesting. Like I wouldn't say there's many like entrepreneurs in London, but there's a few. But yeah, I don't know.
I mean, Florida. Have you met any entrepreneurs now that you're in Florida?
You said in Florida?
Yeah, have you met anybody new?
Um, not like Florida, or like Miami. I know like my circle's quite like yeah, entrepreneur, but just not in like Miami or Florida. If that makes sense. Like there's some in the US, but mainly Dubai. That's the move I'm gonna be making soon is Dubai, just for like taxes, which is annoying because they raised it to like 9% now tax, which is what it is. But yeah, Dubai's I'll probably go there soon. Mainly for like tax purposes.
For sure. I mean, yeah, the connections I've made here in Florida, it's insane. Like I was at dinner the other day with somebody, and this is what you're saying. Like for some reason, somebody mentions, "Oh, I'm looking for fundraising." I
Yeah,
know people that know people that can fundraise, and I can take a cut of that deal,
yeah,
and that makes me a lot of money, you know. So I mean, I was at dinner with somebody, and this is something really really cool. If you're, you need to understand that money is just people's time and energy. So
yeah,
if I were to give you 100K, that is not $100,000. That is X amount of working hours. So if you're able to understand that, like for example, my friend is friends with Luke Bomer, and that's where I was going. I was having dinner with them, and we were planning the content strategy. And he was like, instead of us making the content, why don't we create a system where people can make the content for us and they get rewarded for it,
yeah,
right? So we reward them for using their time. And Luke, he's getting posted every 3 seconds on Instagram. I don't know if you've noticed, but he has like 300,000 followers on Instagram.
yeah,
Like he's not, but people like when people see him in the streets, they recognize him
yeah, yeah,
as if there's people that have 1 million followers and nobody knows them. Why? Because there's other people posting his content. There's other people boosting it for him. There's other people using their time and energy to produce for him.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I mean it's like the Tate thing. It's just like an affiliate um cycle basically. You just find someone, you just give them a cut for every like I don't know set views they get. And it's how there was a guy he invented like Jenny AI. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's like a copywriting AI tool, but that's how he scaled. He basically just found like creators and then just got them to post on TikTok like UGC style of his like AI software, and
Mhm.
he got to like a $25 million evaluation just from like getting creators to post for him, and then he would the people who wouldn't get views on TikTok, he would just like stop paying them, and then he would just pay more the people that were getting like hundreds of thousands of views. But yeah, I mean it's the same like strategy Tate uses for like just insane leverage, just getting other people to post like content, and it works. That's why like Luke and other people go on podcasts and stuff because it's just like infinite content without really like having to do anything yourself besides just talking for like an hour. It's crazy.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's sick. Like being able to do podcasts, being able to do things that give you high leverage, like high leverage actions is what's going to move the needle for you. So instead of filming 1 hour of one video, film an hour and a half podcast, and you can get 100 videos. You know what I mean? Like you get 100 short form videos.
Yeah. I 100% agree. Um, yeah. I don't know if you want to wrap it up there because it's like it's been over like an hour. I don't know if you got any meetings. Do you have any more meetings today?
I have one at 4:30. That's my next meeting.
Okay, so I mean, yeah, we can wrap it up there. I don't know if there's anything else you want to say to the wonderful people watching. I mean, if you've gotten to this stage, if anyone's watching like this point, then their attention span's probably pretty decent, to be fair, if you know what I mean, because we've been talking for a while. Most people would have clicked off a long time ago. So yeah, congratulations to those people watching. I don't know if you want any final words or maybe tell people where they can reach you, like Instagram, YouTube.
For sure. I mean, you guys can reach me on my Instagram. It's Sergio Mendes, and then just change the three the
I'll put
last
it in the
E.
description. I'll put it in the description.
For sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, if
Yeah.
you guys want to DM me, I'm down to help you guys out. I did do a video on my YouTube about how to plan your day, like how to go step by step and more in depth on what we talked today. So if you guys want that, just shoot me a DM and I'll send you the link. And yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Awesome. Yeah, sweet.
dude, if somebody's watching to this point, like I have no doubt they're gonna be a millionaire.
Yeah. Yeah. But once again, it goes back like it's so easy to win nowadays. If you can just stick with one thing. So I used to like switch business models like 3 years ago from like drop shipping to affiliate marketing, whereas if you can just stick with one thing online for like 2 years and just do it every single day, there's no way you don't make a lot of money. And it's like I broke down like Hamza's funnel on my YouTube thing. And he's posted like pretty much every day. He doesn't post every day now. Actually, no, maybe he does. But he's posted pretty much every single day on YouTube for 5 years. And I said to people like, there's no way you don't make 1 million or like you on like multi-set seven figures in sales if you can post every single day for 5 years straight on YouTube, providing value to the market and solving people's problems for free. There's no way you don't make millions if you do that for 5 years straight. But most people just can't do that because they just give up after like I don't know, a few months. And that's really like frustrating for me because that you could have posted one more video and you would have like it would have blown up, which is funny. But yeah, people just can't stick to one thing. They always switch, and yeah, that's why it never works for most people.
No, 100%. And it goes back to what we were saying is there's four pillars. It's just about doing it consistently. So repeating those four actions over and over again for an extended period of time, but while ignoring the results. It goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. It's like I don't care about how much money I'm making right now. I care about how much data I'm collecting to be able to make more money in the future. Like my focus now is how many DMs I'm sending, how many, like, I'm just focusing on collecting the data that's going to help me uh, get more calls, get more clients in the future, you know?
Yeah, and also yeah, I think that links to like the thing that doesn't yield you results today, or like the thing that's hard today, will make your future so much easier. Same with like anything. Like the harder your offer is, the easier it is to get clients. The harder it is to find leads, the easier those leads are probably to get into appointments. Just the harder actions today will equal an easier future. For example, like I'm trying to really go hard on building my school like back end, and just making the product like the best. But that's not going to get me like results today. However, in like 6 months or a year, 2 years, it will like allow me to scale and churn will be very low. So yeah, I think delaying gratification is huge. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I think should we call it there? I don't know.
Yeah, bro, for sure. So it's been,
Awesome.
it's been a pleasure, bro, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, make sure to like and subscribe if you're watching this, and also check out Sergio. I'll put his Instagram and YouTube probably in the description. And yeah, have an amazing day and watch more of my videos up here somewhere.